A lot of people use AI tools for, creating Facebook posts, writing an email newsletter, doing a property description, and it will save you time. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
But there are ways that we can get specific with it to where it's generating content based on our goals and our business.
If you're not using ChatGPT to generate insane marketing for your business, then you're wasting potential, a lot of potential.
The real estate biz is drastically changing, and modern real estate success can't be learned in some old course manual. This is everything they never told you about real estate, where industry leaders expose secrets to success, contemporary lead generation, and how to dominate social media. All moderated by your host, the real estate goat and queen of social media, Carrie Sauvé.
Welcome. I'm your host, Carrie, and I am joined with a guest that I have been waiting weeks to get on here. Phil Stringer. He is a COO of a large real estate brokerage in it's North Carolina, correct? And he's also a coach. And I want to say he's a trailblazer in all things coaching, systems, production, AI, which is what I want to talk about today. Thank you so much for making time, Phil.
Absolutely. It's an honor to be here. Appreciate you having me.
Awesome. Okay, so let's get started. You came from a background in sales. So you've done sales your entire career.
Yeah, I started off 18 years old. I got my first sales job, and it was really because of a family member who was a VP at a company. He kind of got me an entry-level job, and I made the sales team pretty quickly, and I really loved it. It was something that was super interesting to me, and it was one of those things where a lot of people either love sales or they hate sales, and I was one of the type of people who I loved it, right? Because I did so well. And within the first year, I made the top sales agent at that company worldwide. And it was just something where I was like, man, this is really something that I enjoy. I actually like doing this thing. So
Awesome. So obviously you get into real estate because the checks can be huge. I think that's the draw for a lot of people getting into the real estate industry. So the name of the podcast is Everything They Never Told You About Real Estate. This is really the only structured question that I have planned for this entire podcast. I kind of just wing it. So let's get this one out of the way. Yeah. What would be the one thing that nobody ever told you about our industry before you got into it?
The one thing that nobody told me, the one thing I found very interesting was that everyone tries to get into this industry to avoid structure. They don't want a boss. They don't want a 9-to-5, right? But then they find out, I feel like very quickly, that the thing they're trying to avoid is the exact same thing that they need in order to succeed. And so I think that would probably be my one thing, right? It's like you're trying to avoid the structure. You're trying to avoid, having a boss and whatnot, the 9-to-5, time blocking. And it's like, man, you find out very quickly, okay, the thing I was trying to avoid, I actually need structure more than anything in order to succeed in real estate.
Yeah, I feel like I had the same expectations getting in. One of the big drives, motivations for people to get into real estate is freedom of time to do what you want to do, to live a certain lifestyle. When I hear people tell me they're motivated by money, like they're completely wrong. They're not motivated by money. To a certain degree, they're motivated by lifestyle and freedom. And of course, you need money for both of those things. But what people don't understand is that you should take like that first couple years and really systemize your business and do all of that hard work during the setup, because it's going to pay off later and get you to where you want to be. Those are my thoughts on it. And everybody's just prolonging the inevitable. Like, Phil, for me, I believe, so I've been in real estate for almost 14 years. I didn't even have a CRM for like 6 or 7 years. I didn't even know what it was. I had no systems. I was just like going out every night and just picking up random clients here and there, right? And I was successful, but it's because I was highly social. I cringe when I look back and think about how much business I left on the table back then. It literally
Yeah.
makes me want to vomit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, being social can get you so far,
Yeah.
but being social and structured can get you further.
Yeah, absolutely. So I watched a recording last night because I'm with EXP. So I saw Curtis had you at his event. What was it, like earlier this
Oh
week
yeah.
or last week? And
Yeah, last week. Yeah.
you and Mike, because I'm up here in Canada, so Mike's in Canada as well. And you guys killed it at that conference. Both
I
of you
appreciate that.
guys,
Yeah.
you especially, there's not enough realtors going to these type of events. The pearls of wisdom that you guys and most speakers in general just hand out for free. Like, I feel like, what the fuck is everybody doing? If you're not at an event, even like for me in Canada, I show up virtually. What have you been doing with your life? You did a really good job. You shared. So how did you get interested and consumed with AI? Because it's a big part of your coaching. It's obviously a huge part of your business.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where I've always been interested in technology. I've always been that guy who, gets the new gadget when Apple releases something. I'm the one, in line getting it. That's always been part of my personality. So I naturally gravitate towards technology, and those type of things. And so as AI was moving forward, AI has been around for a long time, obviously, but it really didn't just start exploding until, let's say 6, 7, 8 months ago, where people were really picking it up and saying, wow, this is a game changing thing. And, Chat GPT is certainly a widespread tool that it's easy to use. And the reason why it's such a big deal is because it's widely available to people and it's easy to use it. Anybody can type in and ask a question. Even my grandma can do that. And so even people who don't enjoy technology, don't feel like they're good with technology, can use a tool that's super powerful. And that's why, when AI started hitting and it started going widespread, I thought, okay, how can I learn to leverage this technology for real estate specifically, right? Because I'm in the real estate world, I'm the COO of a brokerage, and so I wanted to figure out, how can I leverage this to generate more deals? How can I leverage this to really boost our business, save us time? And that's where it started. So I created a product where I could essentially give to my team and say, hey, here, use this product so that you can 10x your time and your business. And they loved it. And then I thought, well, maybe I should sell this thing, right? Because other agents need this too. And so I thought, maybe let me put it out there as just this product and cover my costs with it, make a couple bucks. And it was so well received that people were like, you have to start coaching on this. And I was thinking, well, I don't have time for coaching right now. Like, I just wanted to create this product and give it out to people. They're like, no, like, you have to coach and train and do an academy. Like, you have to teach people how to do this. This is amazing. And so I thought, okay, what the heck, why not? And so I put out essentially a coaching program and an academy, and it just went crazy. I mean, just the amount of people who joined the program and some of the big names that are currently my clients started vouching for me. And then it kind of went from there.
That's fantastic. I think that I read you do a little bit of social media coaching too. Like, what is the whole tell me everything that you offer.
Yeah, so I do coaching. I was doing one-on-one coaching, and then with the academy now, I'm not able to do a lot of one-on-one coaching,
Mhm.
and so I do a group AI coaching academy, just because of time. I mean, there's over 300 people in the program right now, so I obviously wouldn't be able to do one-on-ones, but we go through and we hit a lot of different things from how to boost your social media, how to write the correct blogs and articles, SEO for websites, how to grow your business, how to save time, how to do this and that. There's just so many different areas that we cover. I also do social media coaching. I used to do social media coaching before AI, just teaching real estate agents here's how you get your brand out there, right? Because with social media, it's so important that people know, like, and trust you, right? We buy things from people who know, like, and trust us. And the best way to get people to know you and to like you and to trust you is if they see your face and they understand what your personality is. So you have to be able to put yourself out there on social media. It's a phenomenal tool where if people see that you're a real estate agent, but you're also able to provide value from a real estate perspective, but then entertainment from a personal perspective, they're going to feel like they know you because they saw this funny video that you did with your dog or your kids, and they're going to feel like they're a part of your life, right? And people will purchase from people who they know, like, and trust. And what better way to get people to know you and like you and trust you than to give them a little bit of a glimpse into your world? And so I train people on how to do that effectively. When to post, what to post, how often to post, what should I post, coming up with ideas on what I need to do.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's part of the social media strategies that I go through with people.
Yeah, it's I don't know about you, but for me and everybody that I know, when I'm referred, say, a new hairstylist or like a nail girl or any service business, I don't look for their website. I look for them on Instagram or TikTok. Like,
Yeah.
and the content has to be there as well. So I find agents use social media in one of two ways. And the majority is like a portfolio or secondary website, which is fine and dandy. Like it works, but it's not going to bring you in business. And if it does at a very low level, not enough agents are using social media to build their business and generate business, because that's like a whole other monster. That's very focused, time consuming, especially at the beginning during setup. Okay, so you coach a lot of agents. I coach a lot of agents too. My biggest realization in the last year is that nobody wants to do the fucking work. Like, I swear to God, everybody's just looking for this easy button and it doesn't exist. Like, I can teach you how to set up your systems and automate, but the setup's going to be intense and then it'll get easier from there, especially as you get used to it. But my God, are you coming across the same thing, Phil?
Of course. I mean, anytime you're going to coach any type of person, there are going to be those who implement and there are going to be those who don't. And so I feel like as a coach, your job is to give them every single piece of advice, every single tool that you can, break down any type of barrier that you can to make it as easy as possible for someone to succeed. You can't force them to succeed though, right? Like you can get them there. You can lead a horse to water. You can't force them to drink, right? And so for a lot of these tools, the AI tools that I'm teaching people here's the exact step-by-step process on how to set the rest of your year's content calendar up. Literally, we can do it in 15 minutes and I'll tell you how to do it.
Yeah.
I am removing so many barriers for people because there's a lot of excuses that people have for not doing things. So let's take, video for an example. We know video is super important, especially in our industry. People don't know what to post a video about. They don't know what to say. They don't, there's so many barriers and excuses that they have for why they're not doing it. And so for me as a coach, I'm going to say, okay, here's how we're going to use these AI tools to come up with a content calendar specifically for your business, your niche, your target audience for the rest of the year. And then I'm going to show you how to get it exactly correct for the scripts that you use. So now you have a script and you know exactly what to say or the generalization of what to talk about. So it's all these tools and steps that people are being given, especially with AI. It's helped a lot to create content, create plans so much quicker than they could before, to where they literally have no excuse anymore. If they're not doing the work, it's because they're lazy now. That's it. And I tell them that. I'm like, I'm going to give you everything you possibly need, to where the only excuse you can give me is, well, I'm lazy. you
Yeah,
know?
literally. Yeah, okay, so I'm at EXP, so I have a downline that I obviously coach to a certain degree for free, and then I have a paid program that people pay actual money for. And you're a COO, so is it fair to assume that you do some level of coaching for free within your brokerage?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, I want to give my brokerage as much information as I possibly can. They need to have the benefit, of course, of what I'm teaching. Yeah, I mean, we do weekly trainings. I'm specifically there weekly. We have a team that does trainings every single week. So we've got a whole online on-demand training program with our team, and then we have live training several times a week. And then I do a weekly team meeting with our team as well.
Okay, do you find there's a huge difference between the students, we'll call them students, that you coach that have paid for your program and the ones that are getting it for free? And
The
how,
people who pay will, yeah, the people who pay will always pay more attention because they have skin in the game.
right?
I can give all of my stuff for free to the people who join our brokerage. Most of them won't do anything with it
I
because
know.
they don't have anything invested.
How do you not get completely frustrated? Like, if I can be honest, I've been dealing with a lot of these agents in my downline that don't utilize anything. My philosophy is, okay, if you've got a husband or you're in a situation where you don't really need to make money and you're kind of complacent where you are, like, who am I to judge you? Like, live your best life. You know what I mean? But if you're coming to me on a monthly basis telling me how desperate you are for money, I'm literally going through and setting up like step by step plans on what you need to be doing every day. And you're coming back every week saying that you maybe did an hour of work all week. Like, I get to a point after 6 or 8 months of this where I'm just like, you're fucking lazy. Like, how do you not lose your shit? This is a personal tip for me. Phil, how do you not lose your shit at this point?
For me, I'm a pretty patient person just in general, but I do get pretty impatient when there are agents who just don't put in the work and then they complain about not making money. Look, if you put the system in place that we've put in place for you, and if you actually do the reps, you will succeed because we've literally done all the legwork for you. It's a plug and play paint by numbers system now, right?
Yeah.
So for the people who just consistently will not do the paint by number system, then I'm going to start charging them what it costs me to have them on board.
Right.
Right. So all the systems, the tools, the software, look, if you're not going to do the work after several months, you're still not doing the work, then you're going to have to pay for what it costs for you to be on my team, the softwares, the different tools. You're going to have to start paying that. And they don't want to pay that, right? So they're either going to start doing the work or they're going to quit, and they don't align with my core values, because my core values include grit and somebody who's like pushing and driving and wants to succeed. That's part of my core values. So if they don't align with the core values of my team, they're either going to get fired because they don't align with my core values, or they're going to find out, you know what, I don't align with this and I'm too lazy. They're going to find themselves out the door on their own, right?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I just had to bring that up because that's just like a theme this week in my life. Okay,
I
so
hear you. Yeah.
I actually so I write for a realtor news outlet up here in Canada every month on social media. And when AI came out, I'm not a techie person. I need to say this for everybody listening. It will take me hours on YouTube to figure out how to do anything for the first time. I have the desire to learn it. I have the drive and the motivation and the desire, because in this business, if you're a realtor and you're not doing more than all the other realtors, you're just going to be a basic at the like that. That's just how it is in sales in the service industry, right? You have to know more, do more, provide more. What is setting you apart? So I'm constantly like on the newest thing. And it takes me a long time to figure it out, but I do it and I fucking love it. I love
Yeah.
it. I use it more for the coaching side of my business than I do for the production. I honestly do. Like everyone's like, oh, let's write a listing description. I'm like, I'll write my own listing description and then throw it in there and ask it to be make it a little cheeky, just so I have something different out there. I use it more for the coaching side. I use it more for research, for my articles, that kind of stuff. What is your favorite? Because there are so many ways to use it, like so many. What's your favorite way? What do you use it for the most in your business?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's higher level things. So I always start off with a specific prompt that says, ask me 20 questions about my business. I'm going to be creating content in this entire conversation. You know, whatever I'm trying to do. I'm trying to create a YouTube calendar for a content schedule for the next month or whatever. And then I say, ask me 20 questions about my business, my goals, my vision, my marketing style, my target audience. Ask me 20 plus questions so that you can fully understand what I'm trying to do before we get to the content, right? So it's going to come back and it's going to ask you many questions like, hey, what's your target audience? You know, and for real estate agents, this could be, hey, what type of, are you wanting listings, or, you know, what's your goal? What type of customer are you trying to acquire? What type of price point are you trying to acquire? What market are you in specifically? What area? Tell me more about your area. What differentiates you? So it's going to ask you all these questions. I take those questions and I answer every single one. I copy and I paste it into a Google Doc. I answer every single one about my business. I paste it back in. And then ChatGPT will ask me follow-up questions on things that it might not understand. So for an example, I answered a bunch of questions about my coaching program with AI. I put it back in and it said, okay, how long are your group coaching sessions and what days do you do them? Like, it's asking detailed questions about specifically what I offer. How much do you charge, you know, per customer, and what is, like, they understand everything. Once I answer those follow-up questions and it fully understands what I'm trying to do, then I go in and I say, okay, now what are 90 content ideas that I can answer for my potential clients that most people don't even know? Then it's going to spit out content based on my coaching program. So now it's not just this generic, you know, real estate content. It's real estate content based on my market, based on my target audience, based on my price point that I'm trying to acquire. And it's super, super detailed. And so I feel like a lot of people use ChatGPT. A lot of people use AI tools for, you know, creating Facebook posts, writing an email newsletter, doing a property description, and it will save you time. That's great. But there are ways that we can get specific with it to where it's generating content based on our goals and our business.
Yeah, I feel like if you're not using ChatGPT to generate insane marketing for your business, then you're wasting potential, a lot of potential.
Yeah.
What does this mean?
And I posted a video. I posted a video saying, hey, what if we were to create a buyer persona, list out some potential problems that buyer could face, or seller, you could do a seller persona. And then based on your market, based on your price point, based on all of those variables, you create an ad solving the problem of your target audience. And, you know, it got a lot of traction on that video because people were like, man, that's a great idea. Some people were commenting like, oh, this doesn't work. I've tried this. Well, it doesn't work because they're not doing it right. They're going in and they're asking ChatGPT, hey, create me a buyer persona and tell me what problems they could have in buying a home. Well, it's going to give you very generic answers if that's the case. But if you prime it with all of your business's goals, your target audience, your specific market, what makes you different, price point, all of those different things, ChatGPT will come back and give you information that's very specific. You just have to know how to do it. And,
Yeah.
the tool's only as good as someone using the tool. A fool with a tool is still a fool. And there's a lot of fools out there who don't know how to use this as a tool, but there's a specific way that you can get really good content from it.
Phil, you obviously, I can tell just by the way you speak, you have a formal sales trained background. Like most realtors don't understand because they don't have that. There's a certain process you need to go through when you're creating marketing material. So what you just talked about is really what a marketing company that we would hire would go through. That's the process. All of those prompts that you're talking about, that's like a real live, process that a marketing team would go through to come up with, ads and campaigns for you. And
Yep.
if you're a realtor and you don't know about this, maybe it's something you should look into because it's a science. They have this shit down to a science. And instead of you sitting there brainstorming, you have this, I don't know, what do we want to call it? This like database of like unlimited knowledge that can help you out and move this along a lot faster. So yeah, when I created my, I went through for my coaching program, created my own VSL, created my funnel, like just so you know the type of person I am. I learned how to do it all myself. I didn't hire anybody to do it. And it took me a good 6 months to get everything going. But that's when I learned about the process you just talked about when you're creating marketing material and getting down to the base of like, what is your mission statement and what are your values? Like most realtors aren't going to know about that. And it's something that they should research for sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
And you can do it yourself and spend 6 months, doing it. If you're that type of personality, or you can hire someone to condense time for you, someone who's already been through that and knows what to do. But depending on what situation you're in, you just have to understand, look, I'm either going to commit to doing the work for the next 6 months to understand it, or I'm going to hire someone to do it for me because I don't have the time. But you have to do it the right way, right? You can't just go in and guess and throw mud at the wall. I mean, you can, some of it will stick, but you have to have a process and you have to do it the right way.
Yeah. And in a way, ChatGPT and AI has really helped out my business. I'm the type of person, like I've had a full team before. I dissolved it. I've had ISAs. The only one that I absolutely loved was a family member. I have control issues with my business and I feel like I can do everything better. It's part of my problem, even though I don't have the time to. I'm not I'm very picky and I'm a little bit of a perfectionist. So it's hard for me to hire on a market. Like I have marketing companies call me to manage my social media and I'm like, bro, you got less followers than I do. Like get the fuck out of here. I just don't have the time. So for me, who's very selective on who is my support staff, right? This really has changed my business so much, still allowing me to have a lot of creative control, just saving me a lot of time. So for agents out there that are struggling with the same issues, this may be the resolution for you. This may be a really good option.
Yeah. And it's not a magic bullet. There are no magic bullets, right? But what this is going to do is it's going to save you so much time and money. You will have so much time saved on the low value activities, the activities that aren't really driving revenue, to where your time freedom, then you'll be open to spending more time on high value activities that are generating revenue, right? The activities that are actually important being face to face, building relationships. I mean, this whole game is a relationship game, right? And if you're spending 20 hours a week trying to come up with Facebook statuses and YouTube descriptions and, writing out all these email newsletters, like, yeah, you can do that in 1 hour now with ChatGPT. You can get all of this stuff knocked out to where you have 19 extra hours then to spend with relationships and clients and being face to face and the high value activities that are actually going to drive revenue. And so I feel like that's the main benefit of this thing. People are looking at it and being like, oh, well, it's not this magic bullet. Well, no, it's not, but it's going to get you 90% of the way there.
Yeah.
You tweak the rest of the 10, and now you just saved yourself 19 hours this week, right?
Yeah. Okay, so I have a couple questions for you just off the top of my head. Can you give me, because the AI world, there's so many different tools. Like, you can go down a black hole for days on this shit. There's so many different systems and tools, and it's pretty insane. Give me your top 3 AI tools. Sorry.
Yeah, so I actually have a PDF download with my top 10 as of now. So that I give that to people just because people ask me that question all the time. And I'm like, here, I've got a PDF. It's got the links. You just click through and it gives you 10 of those. So I can give you that as well. If you go to AI Tools PDF, AITOOLS PDF.com, there's a free download. You can just hit download and it'll give you the top 10, right? If I were to say my top 3, and I don't include ChatGPT in my list because that's kind of a given. Everyone's using it, right? There is a tool called Opus Clip. And what happens is you upload a long form video or a YouTube video, and it will cut it to several different short form videos. So for Reels, for TikTok, you can have, like, for an example, if you have a training or a podcast or whatnot, it'll take that, it'll crop it to size, right, to the vertical size. It'll add in the captions automatically, and it uses AI to generate, hey, we think this would be a good portion of what they were talking about, because it transcribes everything you've said, and it uses AI to be like, ooh, this was very interesting. We're going to put this as the hook at the beginning, and we're going to pair it with this piece and this piece, and it creates you multiple short form video options to where you can post on Reels or TikTok, right? So Opus Clip is very interesting to me. My personal one that I use that saves me a lot of time is one called Tactic. It's TACTIQ, and it links with your web conferencing software, so Zoom, WebEx, whatever, Google Meet, whatever you use. And when you're done, it creates a full summary of the meeting. It creates action items for each person in the room, and it creates an agenda for your next meeting, and it's done automatically. And so this has saved me so much time, because now I can focus on the meeting, focus on the client or the coaching call that I'm on, and I don't have to take notes because it's all taken for me. It does an amazing job.
I love it.
So I use Tactic for that. And then one of my other favorites, if I were to give you a top 3, would be Designer. It's Designer with 2 R's at the end, but it makes ebooks out of podcasts and videos. So I shot a video talking about AI tools that I liked. It was a 30-minute YouTube video. I upload that YouTube video, and it created an ebook from that content. And so you can create lead magnets and ebooks from, you can put a blog post in there and it'll write an ebook for you. You can do audio, video, and it's a really neat tool because now you've already done the work to create the content, right? If you haven't a blog written or an email that you wrote or a social media post, but now you can turn those things into ebooks that you can tweak, redesign, but it's branded to you. And so now you can offer a free ebook to your potential clients to say, hey, you want to know the top 10, benefits or top 10 tools for first-time home buyers, whatever. It's created this ebook for you. Now you're getting their contact information when they download the ebook, and you can follow up with them as leads.
Yeah, that's fantastic. If people don't know what a lead magnet is, it's basically like a little carrot that you're hanging in front of people. That's how I explain it. It's like the carrot. that make the horses run, So,
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. Like for an example, you want my 10 tools? Go to aitoolspdf.com and you can download it for free. That's all.
Oh my God, I love that. Okay, I have a question I've actually been researching for the past week. For me, I'm trying to think of the best AI tool that would help me in my business, and it would be an AI virtual assistant. So I went down a black hole trying to find one. I actually have a couple demos booked for the next 2 days. Have you come
Nice.
across anything like that that you have tried or maybe are looking into? I just feel like we're just at the cusp of this, and it could get really intense, and it could really serve our business really well, and it's going to happen.
Yeah.
I want to know now, right? I'm very impatient. I want it now. So what do you think?
I mean, here's the thing with AI and AI technology, it's moving so quickly. I mean, we're gonna look 6 months from now, and we're gonna be like, dang, wow, that moved really quickly. There are a lot of tools. I've had some companies reach out to me telling me what's coming,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a lot of things that are coming in the pipeline, and it's moving so quickly.
Yeah.
I have found that there's certain tools that maybe didn't work so well 3 months ago, but now technology has they've been working on it, and it works way better than it did 3 months ago. So I feel like it's just going to continue to improve very quickly. I have not found or seen any type of virtual assistant tool that I'm 100% happy with yet, but I know there's a lot of stuff coming in the pipeline. So
Yeah.
I'd be curious to hear your review of your booked calls that you've made with those companies.
Yeah, I will for sure, because one thing I've always believed for my business is it's great to have a virtual assistant or an assistant handling all the non-money making activities. But what about the money making activities? If we could somehow get AI to perform ISA tasks, I feel like that's fucking invaluable, right? And it's going to come.
Yeah.
Like, it's advancing so quickly.
Oh yeah.
I feel like it's going to come. And I can't wait because, I feel like somebody generating business, helping to generate business for you, like an ISA or an OSA, is really, really valuable. When students come to
Yeah.
me and they're like, I want to hire this. I'm like, fuck all that. Hire an ISA, because they're going to bring some money
Exactly.
in. It just makes sense to me. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's coming. It's definitely coming. It's just a matter of time. AI is not going away. The AI powered agent is going to replace the standard agent. It's just a matter of time. Just like the internet. This is just like the internet. It's the biggest thing that happened since the internet, right?
Yeah.
If you were an agent not using the internet before the internet came out, and then you never applied, you never evolved with technology, and you never used the internet, today you'd be dead. It's the same thing. AI is here to stay. You have to evolve with technology, or eventually you will be replaced by the AI powered agent.
And the importance that I try and tell people of being on the forefront of all of these advancements is huge. If you look at something a little bit like lesser than what's happening right now, and you take, say, Instagram. I was an agent on Instagram 14, 15 years ago. Okay. And if you look from when it was all picture about 14, 15 years ago, and the handful of agents that were actually using it for their business properly, compared to now that video is taking over, you still have people coming to the table, but they're not getting, because they weren't at the beginning of everything, they're not getting the same results. And I'm telling people, like with TikTok and YouTube shorts and, video, this is another generation of technology. Get on board now. Like, don't miss the boat again. You already missed one. Let's pull our shit together and get on board this one, because they only come around every so often, right? These big shifts in technology. AI is obviously bigger. It's more massive of a shift than just social media. But yeah, that's something that I just, you look at the agents that have had their license for like 20 years and they're just getting on Instagram and learning how to post. And I'm just like, fuck, just start doing video. Just start doing video. You don't want to be going through this again, So
Yeah.
what do you have any like scary or funny experiences using AI? I've seen a lot of articles out there where like people are getting creeped out by AI. Have you had anything strange happen to you?
There are some strange things that can happen. For an example, there's a tool that I use that you upload audio and it creates a voice that you sounds like you, and you can paste in any text, type in any text, hit play, and it sounds like you're speaking it,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so you could essentially, if you think about it, if someone wanted to, they could take any audio from someone speaking, from a podcast, from a reel, upload that, create a voice of somebody, and make them say whatever you want them to say, right? And so there have been some crazy things. They're going to have to figure out how to deal with privacy and security with these things,
Yeah.
because someone used someone's voice to call their mother and pretend like they were in some ransom situation asking for money, like a kidnap situation.
I've heard that.
And it's super creepy because people will always use things. They'll try and exploit things. If they're an evil person, they're going to use whatever they can to be evil. But we just have to be super careful with some of these things, because technology advances, and it's like, where does it stop?
Yeah. Okay, so I read something really interesting in your bio. You created a study program that helps North Carolina real estate students pass the national and state exam easily on the first try. Okay, tell me about this, because I'm just like mind blown, and I think this is an amazing creation on your part. Like, I think this is, yeah, I look at you differently as a businessman on a whole new level after reading that.
Yeah, so North Carolina is one of the top three most difficult states to pass in the United States. And so I knew that there was a problem, and I knew that I needed to come up with some type of solution, because a bunch of my friends, a bunch of people who said, "Hey, we want to join your team," they couldn't pass the exam because it was too difficult. And so with our percentages, it's a very low percentage of people who pass the exam in North Carolina. I thought, okay, let me create some type of study program to help them. And so I was very, very particular with my studying in college, and I used the same study techniques, the same note-taking techniques when I put myself through the program. I went ahead and took the class again, even after I was licensed, just to audit and to refresh. And I went through and I just created very detailed notes on certain things that were testable. And I omitted anything that didn't matter, because a lot of times when we think of focus, we think of focus like figuring out what to focus on, when really it's the art of figuring out what to ignore. So for me, it's like you're given all of this information, and the reason people aren't passing isn't because it's like super hard rocket science, like neurosurgeon type stuff. It's just that there's so much information and you don't know what to focus on. So my whole purpose of creating my course was, what things can I eliminate to where they don't have to worry about remembering them?
Yeah.
And so that's kind of what I went, that was my goal, was, hey, get it very condensed and just focus on these things and you'll be okay.
That is brilliant. If you ever want to do something like that up here, I would partner with you on that. Ontario,
Love
Canada,
it.
I think we have like the most realtors in any province, and it's not as people fail 2 or 3 times each course, but it's the fact of the amount of money that they're investing into the program in the first place that makes them a little antsy. So I
Yeah.
love that. I love that. So What do you give me, like, your best tips for any newer realtors coming into this business? What would you tell them, like, to focus on? What are the most important things that they need to know?
The most important thing for a new realtor, or
A new realtor.
yeah, I think for new real estate agents, they have to understand that even if they hit the ground running super quick and do everything perfectly, it's going to be a while before you're paid. Right? So people have to understand it takes time to build your business. Some people come into real estate and they think they're going to make thousands of dollars immediately, right? Like it's just going to start raining money. But this game is not a game of instant gratification. And unfortunately, our culture is. So we're used to instant gratification. That's what we like to see. But in real estate, this is something that is built to where you are not going to see the results of what you're doing until 60 days down the line, right? So you need to work super, super hard so that 60 days from now you can eat, right? But then also on the flip side of that token, when things are going well and you're getting paid 60 days from now, you
Mhm.
can't let off the gas, because then 60 days from then
Yeah.
you'll be in the same position, right? So you can't get comfortable when you're getting a bunch of paychecks, because what you're doing now, you won't see the results or the fruit of that labor for 45 to 60 days. You have to keep your foot on the gas.
Yeah, absolutely. And structure and discipline are so important. It's,
Yeah,
so many people need accountability, need to have somebody hold them accountable. And if they're an independent agent in this industry, fuck, they can get swallowed up. And I just feel bad. Um, I feel like getting a coach or joining a brokerage that provides that level of accountability is so important, because like you said, what you're not working for today, you won't have money for down the road. I
exactly.
feel like up
Yeah,
here in Canada, it's even a longer turnaround from prospecting to close. Like you could be 6 months, right?
right.
So yeah, I tell my agents, they're like, I have no money. And I'm like, well, that's because you did nothing 6 months ago up until now. I said, are you actually going to work? Are you going to work starting today so that you're not saying this to me in 6 months or no? And they're like, yeah,
Yeah, that's so
yeah.
true. So
Yeah,
true.
absolutely. It was so great having you on. Thank you so much
Yeah.
for making the time for us little guys up here in Canada. We love the US. One of the biggest reasons I joined EXP is because I feel like Americans do sales better. They're just more advanced, they have a different mindset, they're more aggressive, which is totally my vibe. Um, so yeah, it's great to talk to a US agent or coach. I fucking love it. And I signed up for your stuff. So send me any updates of any speaking, you know, conferences, anything you're going to be at, because you guys need to go and watch Phil.
Well, I think I'm going to be at the Canada EXP Con. So I'll
In
probably see you guys
Vancouver.
in Vancouver. Now, I will say I'm disappointed because Vancouver's great. Don't get me wrong. I love BC. I've never been to Ontario, and it's the one place I want to freaking go. So I need to get a conference set up
Huh.
somewhere in Ontario. Let's do it.
Okay, I'm gonna have to set something up then.
Perfect.
I write for Buzz every month, and they have the largest conference in Ontario.
There
They're
you go. We'll
fantastic.
make it happen.
Okay, perfect. Thanks so much, Phil, for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. Coming. It's just a matter of time. AI is not going away. The AI powered agent is going to replace the standard agent. It's just a
Yes.
matter of time. Just like the internet. This is just like the internet. It's the biggest thing to happen since the internet, right? If
Yeah.
you were an agent not using the internet before the internet came out, and then you never applied,
Mhm.
you never evolved with technology, and you never used the internet, today you'd be dead. It's the
Yeah.
same thing. AI is here to stay. You have to evolve with technology, or eventually you will be replaced by the AI powered agent. And so I feel like a lot of people use ChatGPT, a lot of people use AI tools for, creating Facebook posts, writing an email newsletter, doing a property description, and it will save you time. That's great.
Mhm.
But there are ways that we can get specific with it to where it's generating content based on our goals and our business.
Yeah. I feel like if you're not using ChatGPT to generate insane marketing for your business, then you're wasting potential, a lot of potential.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
what does this mean
And
for
I posted a video.